Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel. I am trying this evening taping in the hopes that it is not going to be too bad shadow-wise with the artificial light. It's just that I have the house to myself and I'm very excited about this and very eager, so I just want to seize the moment. This video is week 2 of the Color Combo 2023, hashtag Color Combo 2023 challenge, led by Tammy at Lou Frou-Frou. So if you hung in with me last time when I worked on week one prompt, which was gray and orange, well, number one, thank you. Your Medal of Honor, Purple Heart, is on its way to you. But I didn't want to repeat that. So from now on, I'm going to do prep work ahead of time. I wanted to also show you, excuse me, my intention was to do one page in this art journal, an altered book. I talked a bit about that last time. I don't want to repeat myself. And a smaller project. So because I have a million envelopes, I wanted to do something with, repurposing an envelope. So this is one side, the intention being that this would be sewn into the spine. Some little tags here tucked in just because they match. And the other side is this. So I did get to use the hand or the rooster, because I did say that I wanted to get a little more whimsy into some of my projects and not be quite as serious. So that is that. I did share that on Instagram. So what I've done for week 2 is get the base ready. Now, you're going to think, well, that you've done a lot of work without us, and that is true, but it's going to, we've all seen people cut and paste before. For those of you that watched the first video, there's really not much of it showing, you'll know that there was some scrapbooking paper, can't seem to lay my hands on it right now, that I really dislike, and it's this one. So I'm bound and determined before these 4 weeks of gray plus something are over, I will be rid of that paper. Before I carry on with with what I intend for this page, I will show you the other envelope that I've prepped. So this is just, one piece of the envelope. It will be a side pocket. So there's a little notch there. I've got that little girl in the window. I have a pocket here and a teeny tiny pocket there. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I'm also, well, frankly, a little bit shocked with how long each of these things take. And, I guess that's neither here nor there. A person, it's as busy and complicated as we choose to make it, I guess. But I am happy with how they turned out. And if you'll notice, there are repeating elements. So I wanted to use circles because I typically don't work very much with circles. I have all those punches. I had itty bits of yellow paper. And I tend to prefer rectilinear shapes. But I'll just kind of briefly tell you what's here. This is some scrapbooking paper, and if I'm not mistaken, it was a Harry Potter theme thing. And of course, I'm never going to do anything with that. These I got out of an old magazine, and I think they're, well, they're I don't know. They're not rivets, they're not spools, I don't know what they are. But, they're graphic and they look good there. More security envelope innards. This is wrapping paper. And maybe that's all you need to know. So what I wanted to do, because even though this page is big, there are many small areas. So I thought I need to unify this in some way. So what I did was freehand draw a silhouette of a tree. And that's easy enough to do. We've all seen trees. We know what they look like. Now, because this book is taller than 11 inches, I had to put in a patch here, but that will be covered. And I thought, who doesn't love owls? And they essentially are shades of gray, so that was good. But before I, bite the bullet and glue this down, I did want you to be part of it. So I had some scraps off this napkin that had ink on it. This is part of like a commercial napkin. It had a sunflower. So I just tore out around. And in order to hold all of this together, I kind of tacked it down with art glitter glue so that things would stay where they belong. Each of these guys was sitting on a branch, so I had to remove the branches. The napkin serves to sort of add another layer, push back the color, make the black stand out even more, be more high contrast against the background. So in order to make these guys, not look cockeyed as they're sitting in the tree, I am probably going to need to trim this on, well, a minimum of 2 sides and possibly 3. So just want to make sure you can see something. So we know that trunks aren't necessarily straight as arrows, so it doesn't matter if I have to twist this one way or the other. I just don't want the birds to look like they're going to fall out of the tree. So I can, if I want to have this patch closer to the bottom and where it is not going to be as obvious, I guess it doesn't matter if these branches don't. Maybe I should try to make contact there. I do like the look better of them bleeding off the page. Okay, so I think that is the plan. So I can easily trim these after they're glued down. This, not quite as easily. So what I'll probably do is just mark this. I guess that's not too bad. Kind of mark where this needs to be cut off. This gutter side is going to be less of an issue, less obvious than the outside. So I'll just make those few cuts. If I can see my pencil marks. And I don't know whether you can make out on the camera or not, but I did, like this was obviously a piece of black cardstock, so it was very flat looking. So that might be it. I brought out some options for how to add a bit of detail, and I think I'm still going to do that. But maybe I'll just tack this tree down first so that it stays where it belongs. So if I position it there, raise it up so that makes contact and that makes contact, I should be good. Maybe I'll just make a light mark here. So I know if I get that lined up and I get this lined up, that it's where I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is get my glue pages a little closer. I think I should probably use glue stick on the wider parts, and then art glitter glue on the more delicate parts, like where the napkins are, because we know how easily that can tear. I hope that you've looked at Tammy's channel, Lou Frou Frou, and maybe got inspired also by what you saw me do, and made the decision to take, to take part. I really think this is going to be a fun thing. And you know, it's ironic, but like because I'm still so new at this taping business, after each video, I of course watch it and listen to it to make sure I haven't done anything, you know, bizarre or said something that is totally incoherent. So I noticed that in the last one, you know, of course, as it went on and there were all those decisions to make, and should it be this or should it be this, and what about this? And I did a lot of sighing, and I'm thinking that's not the message I want to convey. I very much enjoy this. So, but you'd never know it by listening to those sounds. It sounded like I was so hard done by. Well, you know, so clearly I'm not going to be sighing today because, number one, I don't feel as pressured because I have a concept and I'm not having to do all my thinking in front of you, and also because I've done some prep work, so I'm not going to feel guilty that it's taking way too long. So all in all, I think this should be a much more satisfying undertaking for both you and me. I have to say, whether she said it or not, maybe I forgot, but I don't know, to be honest, what day Tammy does her. Like when will she do week 3, which is gray and blue. So I don't know, but I want to be ready. I want to be caught up, and that's partly why we're doing this tonight. So we'll do our best here to, where's that other mark? I've got that triangle there, and I've got this here. So that should be pretty well perfect. And if you believe that, I have swampland for sale. We know that perfection is not the goal here at all. So maybe I'll just use this so I can put a little pressure on here without doing any damage to the surface. And of course I said I would trim. And I will keep an eye on this and see what else might need to be touched up, but you don't need to be part of that process. As she glued down some more. Yeah. Stop touching it. It's weak when it's wet. Again, I don't mind the little ridges and the little bumps. Okay, so that in itself still leaves a bit of wide open space that I'm not that thrilled with, like particularly this corner. So what I did was I created another little, started working on something else for this corner. Actually, before I do that, maybe I should show you some of the things I could reuse this. Some of the things I was considering for the trunk. So you've probably all heard of the Stabilo All pencil. This one doesn't have it on there, but it's 8046. This is a Stabilo All in gray, and it is 8008. I had some gel pens that I thought were in, kind of in the related color family. I found that they were my little test swatches. They didn't work particularly well on this paper, and I don't know if that's because they're drying up. But what I was fairly happy with it, and I don't know, I hope you can see that, is the gray Stabilo All. Because, again, gray is the color. It's subtle, but yet it does the trick. I'd also used the, what is it called? The spray ink that Ranger makes, Distress ink, in the spray bottle, to get some, I think they call this antique brass or something. I put the little thing away. Oh, and this was a Staedtler Aquarelle pencil. Aqua, of course, meaning that it is water soluble as well. But it seems to me that was, when I wet it, it turned kind of green. Or maybe that was over here. Not sure. It does look kind of green, so we're going to eliminate that. I think what I will use is kind of do an indication of some bark, just by making some lines. And we know how, if there's a knot or an imperfection of some kind in bark, it tends to, the design will sort of curve around it. And again, it's not to draw every speck of bark. It's just to sort of add some linear movement to this and take away some of the flatness of the black. And I guess I'll have a look at this when I sort of get this done and see if there's anything to be gained by wetting it. I know that on this thing I did wet it. I don't know that there's much difference, to be honest, because I'm working on such a very dark surface. And again, I'm not going to make every possible mark. Just sort of make an indication that there's some texture to this. It's not just a flat black thing. Oh, I put a load of laundry to wash. I hope that, well, number one, I hope you can't hear it, or if you can, forgive me. I did that before I realized that I was going to try to do the video. So, and these, what are these things called? These crooks, where the branches intersect the trunk. Oh, and wouldn't it have been nice, damn it, if I'd have brought some water? I don't, and it's not within reach. I might have to do that after I turn the camera off. And again, I don't know whether that's going to make any sense to do it or not. But what I will do to conclude this page, I was thinking that, number one, I want to hide that seam there. I wanted to sort of have a focal point here. This is a sticker, and it's actually like this had a little coil thing here, like a coil notebook, but I didn't want that blue thing showing and the red line, so I covered it up with this scrapbooking paper that matches pieces that I've used elsewhere. I used just a dirty blending brush to knock back the stark white. And I think I should probably, just for safety's sake, add some glue. Add some glue to this so that we know that we get proper adherence. Oops. So once I position this, I'll have a better idea where to add the stickers. Let me see, can you see? Yes, you can. I think I'll do it there. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm parallel to the edge of the paper. And I think I was going to do something like this. This covers the seam, and this just adds another element. So let's see. It gets a bit lost there against the trunk of the tree. Smack dab in the middle of that strip. Looks a little too contrived. So maybe if I offset it a bit like that, it breaks up. Need a little dab. Now, mind you, it kind of leaves this 4 hanging out in the middle of nowhere. I could do that, because really I just wanted to cover that so I could just barely have it. Okay, we're not playing for $1 million. Just make a decision and glue it down. So I'm going to make contact with this bit of paper, just barely cover the problem area. Gives me a few more options as to where to place this. I'll probably do something like that. That little strip of white there gives enough distinction so it doesn't disappear onto the trunk, but yet I kind of like when that's where I'm putting it. Doesn't leave a heck of a lot of space for anybody to write anything. Mind you, who's anybody? It's my book. I was thinking, oopsie, I did remember to bring this thing that I was talking about the other day. We'll see. It does work like a miracle, but I see it's also taking off. Because that sticker was a bit shiny, it's also taking off some of that ink that I put on there. So I will have to cover this up and maybe pick another dirty. Maybe I'll try this one this time. I don't mind the white because of course there is some pure white elsewhere on the page, so that's fine. I started to say that I was thinking that I should make a note of, week 1 and what the colors were, but I'm thinking anybody should be able to tell what the colors are. So what I will do is trim off the parts that are sticking beyond the edge. Oh, and I did do some more gessoing. So I'm ready. I'm ready for week 3. This is always a bit awkward. Sometimes the angle for the scissors is just not great. And these few bits at the top. Okay, let's have a look at this thing. I like it. I like it. This guy looks a little bit crooked to me. Maybe he dozed off and is about to fall out of the tree. No birds or animals were harmed in the making of this video. Especially if I glue his claws down, he'll have a better grip. Okay, my lovelies, that is it for today. I will pull out my trusty sheet here to just, again, remind you that if you're finding value here, if you want to help, a struggling YouTuber get her numbers up, it would be very much appreciated if you subscribed, liked, commented, shared, any and all of those above. I hope that you have a lovely evening. I hope that you have a great day tomorrow and manage to get a lot of crafting done. And we will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.